What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here. When the iPhone 4 was announced, it was met with a collective sigh from the geek community. It wasn't what many of us were expecting, but much like beauty, all the changes are definitely more than skin deep. We've got a dual core processor here, we've got a better camera, we've got some software enhancements in the virtual voice of Siri, but is that going to be worthwhile upgrading from an iPhone 4? Let's put these two head to head and see if the S in 4S stands for speed or suck. All right, so let's make sure we're doing an apples to apples comparison. Let's make sure that all the applications are closed. I know it doesn't affect how Apple's iOS uses memory or not, but just for the sake of commenters, to keep things simple, everything here has been closed. We've got an iPhone 4S and an iPhone 4. Both are connected to the same Wi-Fi network. This guy's got 3G coursing through its veins since my SIM card's in there. And this one, my old iPhone 4, does not. All right, so let's try some first-party applications. If my fat fingers can let me hit them at the same time, let's go ahead and try something like weather, which is so much harder to do than you'd expect. Hit them at the same time. So load a little bit faster here on the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 4. Let's try calendar. Same thing, a little bit faster, nothing major. Let's try some third-party applications. How about Twitterrific? Faster on the iPhone 4S than the iPhone 4. I'm actually going to stop there on third-party tests. Applications that are existing right now were coded and developed for iPhone 4 or earlier hardware, not taking advantage of the additional speed that the iPhone 4S offers. So presumably we'll see a difference a few months from now as developers are able to take full advantage of the extra horsepower in the iPhone 4S. Something to keep in mind. So web browsing is extremely important to me. It's one of my best features of a phone, and iOS has arguably one of the best web browsers out there. Let's go ahead and see if the S gives it any extra speed. Unfortunately, the S doesn't stand for Adobe Flash. There's an S in there somewhere. I just thought I'd throw that little jab in there. We'll jump into settings. We'll go ahead and clear history, clear cookies. Well, I do love cookies. I also love Punch and Pie. Let's go ahead and open up Safari. It should open up my bookmarks. Let's go ahead and try my favorite tech site on the planet, Techno Buffalo. I'll get that queued up there, and we'll let them load. And again, same Wi-Fi network. A little bit faster on the iPhone 4S. That was definitely a bigger improvement than we saw in application load time. Let's try a few other websites. Let's try YouTube. It should load the mobile version of the Techno Buffalo YouTube channel. A little bit faster on the iPhone 4S versus the iPhone 4. Let's try the godfather of tech sites. Let's try Engadget. Let's see if there's any sort of difference there. Same thing, a little bit faster on the 4S versus the 4. What about sites we've already looked at? So we already saw Techno Buffalo, so it's stored in cache, or there's caching involved. See if there's any difference here. So load it again, faster on the iPhone 4. And I gotta tell you in all candor, this is probably the 14th time I filmed this video. I kept not being able to hit buttons at the same time. It was just a disaster. These are the same results that I saw each time that I tested. The iPhone 4 was faster than, or the iPhone 4S was faster than the iPhone 4. I'm glad I caught that before I uploaded this video, otherwise it would have been just a billion comments. All right, so we'll go ahead and hit home here, and we'll hit home out of there. So I have the AT&T version of the iPhone 4S, which is supposedly capable of running on their, what they're calling a 4G network. That is HSPA+. It's capable of 14.4 maximum megabits per second down, as opposed to the 7 or so that the iPhone 4 can get. Well, I'm in Southern California, and I am blanketed by HSPA+. So I was really curious what the speed test was going to be using the speedtest.net application. So again, this is going to be totally subjective depending on what location you are or where you are, what network traffic is at the time. This is only accurate for me right now at this exact minute at about 4:30 p.m. on the 14th of October. But I'm just kind of curious. I thought you guys might be as well. But unfortunately, this guy doesn't have any 3G radio. So we're going to bring in a guest iPhone 4 that does have a SIM card and is running on, of course, 3G. So Wi-Fi has been turned off here. I'm going to go ahead and turn Wi-Fi off on this guy so we're getting an accurate test. to Wi-Fi and flick it off. All right, so let's open up the speed test application there. Open up the speed test application here. It's going to find and close the server. Hopefully they'll find the same server. Begin test and begin test. So they are both pinging San Diego server. We'll try the LA server afterwards and see if we get any sort of difference. So theoretically, this is capable of a maximum, with the camera there, a maximum double the data speeds. So the iPhone 4S is pulling in just about 3 megabits per second, 2.7 something, 2.75, and the iPhone 4 pulled in 1.3. So pretty close, definitely an increase in speed, pretty close to that double average, or double potential rather, that the iPhone 4S can do versus the iPhone 4. And we got 1.11 on the up as opposed to the 0.61 on the iPhone 4. And again, iPhone 4, iPhone 4S, 1.3 down, 2.75 down. So definitely a big difference. Let's try changing servers and see if there's any sort of difference there as well. Make sure we weren't getting some sort of weird anomaly. So we'll change servers. Let's go ahead and jump to Los Angeles. There we go. Speed test, and let's restart the tests here on both of these. And again, totally subjective. This is mostly just for my curiosity, because I was dying to know if there was going to be any sort of speed increase. So we're looking at about 1.75-ish on the iPhone 4S on the right-hand side, and about 0.81 or so on the iPhone 4. So now we're seeing double, more than double the speeds on the iPhone 4S. But it looks to be a bit slower on the upload. No, they're almost the same. It's going to be a neck-and-neck race to see who gets faster on the upload speed. 0.5 and 0.42. So the iPhone 4S was indeed faster. So the S, at least in my case, did stand for speed. So is this worthwhile upgrading? People ask me that all the time. I say if you have a 4, there's probably not a giant compelling reason to upgrade. Siri is neat, but it's in beta, and in my opinion, still a bit of a novelty. If you are a camera junkie and you really need to have 1080p, well, that's going to be a reason for you to want to upgrade, or you want better cameras. It's got that extra lens in there, so it will take much better pictures, 8 megapixel versus a 5. But nothing giant overall. If one of those reasons is enough for you, then the 4S is going to be a worthwhile upgrade. If you just like to use a phone for a phone and you want to have the latest and greatest, might not be worth signing your name to a 2-year contract. Now we're going to see some of the biggest improvements once developers can start getting their coding on for the iPhone 4S and take advantage of the improved software and hardware that lives beneath the hood. I guess the software is kind of the same of both. So if you've got an iPhone 3GS, probably worth the upgrade to the iPhone 4 or an iPhone 3G or an original iPhone, definitely make the jump to the 4S. If you're on the iPhone 4, you're going to want to think about it to make sure it's right for you. So leave your comments down below. Do you think the S stands for speed or suck? Very, very curious. We'll judge by thumbs up on each to see what you guys think. I'm very curious. For all your tech news, be sure to check out technobuffalo.com. I'm John Rettinger, and I'll see you in the next video.